Hey there everybody, my name is Ben Marazi, aka Ben9K. I am the drummer and least interesting member of teen surf sensations, the Volcanics. And this is Baby. She doesn't really care about the drums at all. Welcome to the latest episode of Pi Records What's My Rig. Today we're going to be talking about the Ludwig drum kit behind me, the official drum set of everybody's favorite banded blue sweaters, the Volcanics. To start, I like a really simple drum setup. I play in a bunch of other bands aside from the Volcanics. I play in an early rock and roll garage band called the Rhythm Shakers, and then I've also recently started playing drums for the BOMBORAS. And in all of those bands, I use a setup pretty much the same as this one. I like to keep things incredibly basic. So this is a Ludwig drum kit, we think from about the early 90s. We found it on Craigslist. We knew we wanted to get a set of drums that matched our blue sweaters because you gotta look cool. These popped up one day, so I just drove out to Long Beach and picked them up. They were 250 bucks. So the first thing we noticed is that the previous owner definitely painted this themselves, probably with spray paint. If you look around it, you can see places where the paint started to scratch off and you can see red under it. So we think at some point it was a red drum set. There are no badges on it. They definitely removed all the badges when they painted it and then just, I guess, forgot to put them back on. So, who knows? If you're more of a drum expert than me or Baby, you could probably search the serial numbers on these and figure out, their exact date and all that stuff. But like I said, I don't know. I have no idea. We drove out there. They looked cool. 250 bucks. Let's go. The hardware is just like whatever we could find between the three of us, Frankie, Jared, and myself. We kind of had enough like leftover hardware from like old drum kits or whatever to sort of put this together. So there's like some Yamaha, there's some like Pearl, there's some sound percussion. It's kind of just whatever we could find, but it works. It's only fallen apart on me a couple of times. Is this still fun? So I like a really like dead drum sound, so I tend to tune them pretty low, maybe a little bit lower than some other drummers would like. I've had other drummers like jump in or fill in or use the kit, and they're always like, what is wrong with this? I'm like, no, you have to hit it like really hard to basically like, get it up into register. That's probably not how you're supposed to. That's probably an incorrect way to do it, but here they are. So the big splurge for me when it comes to drums is the snare drum. I used to use a lot of different snares, and then a couple years ago I switched over to this, and I kind of haven't really looked back. So this is a Ludwig Black Beauty. You can kind of like crank it and tune it really high to get a certain sound. You can tune it down, mute it. Like the range of this drum is just really, really great, and I can't recommend it enough. So cymbal wise, I've used a lot of different setups over the years. When I was in like a lot of like punk and hardcore bands, I was just always looking for like the loudest or the heaviest cymbals that weren't gonna break. Once I started playing like more surf and early rock and roll, garage and stuff like that, I really started to think about the type of cymbals I use a lot more. So most of what you hear now with the Volcanics or any of the other groups I really play for are these. These are Zildjian Avidus cymbals. They're really cool. So they're basically meant to be like reissues of what Zildjian would have been making in like the 1950s. So they're just heavily influenced by like bebop and jazz and early rock and roll, and I think really capture like a lot of that sound that all of us are going for. I have a full set of like 1950s vintage Zildjians, and I never use them because I'm too afraid that they'll break or something like that. So they just like sit in a corner by themselves. But these are really cool because it's the same exact sound, but if you break one, you can just go to Guitar Center and get a new one instead of like sitting on Reverb for months and months trying to find it. Last but not least, sticks. These are a 7A. I really like them. I used to use 5B, and then a few years ago I switched over to 7A because I just felt like I had way more like control. I don't use any particular brand. If you want to sponsor me, give me a call. Yeah, now like there's been a few times I picked up like 5Bs or even 5A, and it like feels like I'm carrying around a baseball bat. So yeah, 7A. This is what I go with all the time. And then the other pro tip is I put UV tape on the butts of them, so if you drop them on stage in the dark, you can find them in the black lights. Bombora pro tip, we'll call that. Baby dog. Is this fun? Anywho, there it is. Hopefully you guys dug this video and stuck with me. If you're new and just starting to get into drums or surf music, take my advice. Don't let the money get you down. Just buy whatever drum kit you can find on the internet and play loud. If you want to talk about drums or chihuahuas, you can add me on Instagram. My handle is @Ben9K, all spelled out. We can like put it along the bottom, maybe somewhere. If you want to support the band, the Volcanics' new album, Concrete Carver, is now streaming everywhere, or you can buy the vinyl or CD from High Tide Recordings. So there you go. Thanks. We'll see you guys next time. Can you say bye? You don't care about that.